best rate. If you want to send money to Nigeria, Cameroon, Ghana, anywhere in Africa, download AfriX today. We have the best rate. Transactions are ridiculously fast. Yes. Ridiculously fast.
Yes.
Within 10 seconds, money has arrived. You've sent happiness home. All right? Bye.
This is Zuli. Zuli likes to enjoy herself, but one thing Zuli also likes is to make her loved ones happy. With AfriX, making our loved ones happy is just at our fingertips, no matter the distance. AfriX is convenient, reliable, affordable, very fast, user-friendly with a wide global reach.
Wow!
Download AfriX app today and bring your loved ones closer, no matter where they are. They have amazing rates with no fee.
Hello, people. Welcome to Choco Millionaire. It's been a long time I did a live video. Further need to do one, especially on a topic that is of interest to a lot of people. If you're already watching this video, I encourage you to smash the like button, drop your emojis, drop your comments as well. There's a live video. You get a chance to ask questions whilst I'm live. I also will encourage you to share this particular video in your WhatsApp groups, your Telegram groups, and even on your social media pages. Share them. Share this video. This video is probably one of the most important videos we want to note down. If possible, mark it down somewhere, share it yourself. You might come back to it. I will do my very best to be as clear as possible. I will not be responding to questions that to the best of my ability I've answered in the video. Just to repeat, I will not be responding, even if you watch this video later on, months later, weeks later. So long as I have addressed the issue or your question in the video, I will not be responding to it. That is my way of telling you that I want you to appreciate when we take time to do the research to come forward with videos like this, okay? The least you can do is also take your time and watch it. If you can't watch it, please do your own research, all right? Smash the like button, let your friends know that something is going on here. I'd like to also start off by appreciating the many of you who helped me to mourn my father. Thankfully, the funeral is over. I'm happy to thank you. All I want to say is a thank you to the many of you. A disclaimer, yours truly, Choco Millionaire. I'm just a hustler living in Canada, a Canadian citizen, of course. I am not an immigration expert. I'm not an immigration consultant. And during the course of this video, I'll be making references to certain immigration announcements. Where they are official announcements, I will mention that. Otherwise, any opinion expressed here or any comment made during this live video are solely mine. Any mistakes beyond the official announcement are mine and just mine. I recommend you consult with experts in the event that you want to get some additional information. Experts who are certified immigration consultants or those who are paid, who train for this job. All right, that's a disclaimer there. All right, this video is also going to be coming with some links. I will be attaching all these links in the description box of my YouTube channel. Make sure you check them out and read more for your understanding. Originally, I had planned to do this video last week Sunday, not this past Sunday, the week before, so 8 days ago. But then I decided not to do it. I just wanted to sit back a bit and then reflect and see the different angle that I could take this video. Plus, I was also not in the mood to do any live video at that time. I felt this is the right time. Some of you may have already seen videos like this on other platforms. Some of you are already nervous, anxious. This changes. What does it mean? Is the Canada, jackpot dream all over? Is it coming to an end? What does it mean? Hey, I'm going to share my perspective plus some official announcements here. Remember, do your own research because this will be my own take or perspective or twist to it. All right, smash that like button and let others also find this video and share with your friends as well. So there is an IRCC policy document that is making the rounds. It was first reported by Toronto Star. And people picked the report, and then, it started going around. Some content creators have also picked this. Some consultants have also commented on this. And from all indications, one thing could be concluded from the report, that it seems that the IRCC is about to make a major change or changes to the entire postgraduate work permit program. Well, is it surprising to actually make changes to the program? Well, the last time a change like this was made was somewhere in 2008. In April 2008, during the financial crisis, Canada made a massive change to their postgraduate work program. All right. Now, I'm going to be sharing a document confirming that. All right. Good. So 2008 was when they made the announcement to actually make changes to the postgraduate work permit program. This was in Vancouver, April 21st, 2008. And this was a release at that time, 15 years ago, isn't it? The Honorable Minister at that time, Diane Finlay, Minister of Citizenship and Immigration, today, that was 2008, announced changes to work permits for international students who graduate from eligible programs at certain Canadian post-secondary institutions, making it easier to attract foreign students to Canada. Second paragraph reads, effective immediately. That was 2008. And for the first time, I want you to pay attention to what it says there. It says, for the first time, these international students will be able to obtain an open work permit under the post-graduation work permit. Guys, so this was where it all began. The last time we saw a major announcement like this, tweaking and overhauling the postgraduate work permit, was in 2008. And you read right there, that's not official communication. It said, for the first time, students were going to be given a postgraduate work permit to allow them to work in Canada. So you see, we've come a long way, isn't it? 2008. Now, those who studied in Canada decades ago, 2 decades ago, 3 decades ago, will tell you that during their time, they didn't have stuff like this. you didn't have an opportunity to work in Canada. So what we are enjoying today, this was how it started. And in fact, at the time when they introduced it, the idea was to retain most of the international graduate students. In other words, to keep them in the country, to get them to work. The timing could be a factor too. 2008 financial crisis, North America, US, the market was. Now, look at the time right now. What time is it? World economies. Similar thing, isn't it? Yeah. Now, since then, they've introduced different other immigration programs to actually match with this. The idea behind this particular postgraduation work program was to retain as many international graduates as possible so that they could acquire Canadian work experience and continue staying in Canada and work and have a pathway to permanent residency. That was actually the time that they were thinking about introducing what we call Canadian Experience Class, CEC. What is CEC? Those who have demonstrated work experience full-time in Canada for at least 1 year during the time when they were not students or they were not in school, or maybe they were on an open work permit, had a clear pathway to applying for permanent residency, having demonstrated that they've acquired Canadian work experience. Are you with me? If you are with me, make sure you are smashing that like button there, all right? And I'm hoping that by the time we finish this, we will appreciate the journey and how far we've come. Small beginnings, all right? The government of Canada, this was in the same announcement in 2008, April. Dan Finlay said the government of Canada wants more foreign students to choose Canada and want to help them succeed, said Minister Finlay. Open and long work permits provide international students with more opportunities for Canadian work experience and skills development. This will in turn help make Canada a destination of choice and help us keep international students already studying in Canada. This is exactly what I said some few seconds ago. And then they will go on and create a CEC program and then other immigration programs at the federal level, hoping to retain many international students as we speak. As at 2023, December 2023, the total number of international students in Canada has increased significantly. We have a total of 930 international students in the country as at December 31st, 2023. That's about 1 million international students by December 2023. We can argue that that number may probably be the same or may have gone up slightly, even as we speak now. Now, we know early this year, in the first quarter, there were some announcements made to cap or to control the number of students who are coming into the country. I'm giving all of this because I want you to appreciate the journey. I want you to appreciate how far we've come with this particular program. All right. Now, we can even look at the breakdown of these students and then see how they are distributed here in Canada. The international student profile as at 2023 December, based on the figures I gave you, 930,000, there's the breakdown. 40% of that 930,000 come from the country of India, 40%. 10% out of that 930K comes from China. 5% from the Philippines. I was struggling to find some countries in Africa there. I couldn't. Doesn't mean there are no Africans among it, just that the numbers are probably not that high to make it up there. You see it? So I don't want our African brothers to feel so guilty that what is happening here, we caused it. If you look at the numbers there, India alone, about half of the population, international students, India. You see it? Africa, we are not there. You understand? All right, good. And which provinces can we find these students? 52%, more than half of them are in Ontario. 18% in British Columbia. Quebec has 11% of them. Notice how you don't find the other provinces mentioned. Very small. Meaning the traffic can be found in these three provinces, Ontario, Quebec, and British Columbia. Ontario alone, more than half of the population are here. Over 400 and something thousand are in Ontario. And what levels are these students studying? 42% of them are in colleges. 38% of them are universities doing different programs at the university level. And then the rest are at the primary and secondary school level. But for purposes of this video, we know that this is our postgraduate work permit, which starts from the post-secondary level. So that will mean that college and university. So if you look at the breakdown, you can tell that colleges have a chunk of the number. 42% of international students are studying in colleges. All right, people. Now that I've given the background and all of that, let's talk about the anticipated changes. The policy document that caused all this ulabalu and anxieties that, as we speak, many of you are so worried. And indeed, we should all be worried. But let's take a look at the policy document that came out. So the IRCC sent a survey to stakeholders. And the stakeholders here will mean people who have stuff to do with international student program or the postgraduate work permit or immigration. The stakeholders here are mostly provinces. So all the provinces in Canada and the territories and other stakeholders that matter or actors. And the survey sent questions to them. The questions are 8 in number. In fact, if you look at the questions here, you'll notice there are 8 questions. I'm going to take my time to go through it, but I want us to start from the introduction so we can appreciate it. What is the purpose of this particular survey? The hope of the IRCC is to calibrate the postgraduate work permit program to meet the labor needs of Canada. In other words, Canada has labor needs. In fact, the forecast goes all the way to 2031. 2031. The needs of Canada, we can tell from now to 2021 which sectors Canada needs a lot more people. So the IRCC wants to seek the opinion or input from the stakeholders on how best they can actually recalibrate or tweak the postgraduate work permit to actually make it more effective so long as the labor market is concerned. Now, labor markets keep changing based on the needs. We are currently in a post-pandemic era where we are recovering. The country is not the same. It's never been the same since COVID, right? So the expectation here is that things will keep changing. In fact, governments will keep testing different things. This very government, the Liberal government in power, are likely to lose power. That is what the stats are showing. Just like in the United States, Joe Biden is likely not going to return. Now, talking about governments here, have you noticed that there is a strong wind of nationalist, pressure moving across the Western world right now? Let's start from the Netherlands. Geert Wilders just secured majority, isn't it? That is a far-right government. Now, in the whole of EU, they just had their EU elections. And the far-right government or parties have actually dominated. Macron is likely going to lose. The same thing is happening in the UK. The same thing in the US. Donald Trump, on the right-hand side, is likely coming back. Unless they choke him, he's coming back. And you can tell they're trying every means possible to put all kinds of elephant in his way, but the guy is coming back. In Canada, the opposition, Conservative Party, is just waiting. They are likely coming back. But why am I mentioning all these political developments to you? Because they directly impact immigration. Conservatives are known to not be the most aggressive or lovers of immigration. Remember, the party in power right now, the Liberals, who are championing some of these tweaks, are the ones you can also credit for some of the biggest immigration reforms that brought in more immigrants. So if the Liberals are the ones doing this, then we need to just gear for all the conservatives will do, since they are not even in power yet. You get what I mean? Those who are getting it to understand. Indirectly, I'm telling you that we are moving into an anti-immigration era from 2024, the late 2024, all the way to 2025, 2020, anti-immigration era. People in the West are just fed up. They are fed up. And when things don't begin to go well here, the easiest target to be picked is most of the time immigrants. So if you're an immigrant, I want you to bear. When things don't go well, you'll be blamed though. When things don't go well, you are the first to be blamed. It's just as simple as that. Any country does it. Don't just think about the West. We also do it. When things don't go well in Ghana, some of our people will blame the Nigerian traders in Accra. I know it's so. When things are not going well in South Africa, the first people to start blaming will be the immigrants who are there. I know it's so. It's just the way things work. They'll blame the government and then they'll start blaming you and so on. So government has to start reacting. You got what I mean? All right, let's read it there. To align, let me know if the font is good enough. If you guys can see it better, let me know. If you cannot see it as well, please let me know. Okay? To align postgraduate work permit eligibility with labor market needs while reducing the overall volume of postgraduate work permit holders and increase an increase and increase in the likelihood that international students have labor market outcomes commensurate with their education and training. Which they want to talk for you, say they want to make sure say whatever you can study for Canada is not a dondology. Dondology means course way you study and finish. You yourself, say Charlie, the course, get value for the real market of world right now. You understand? Courses that used to be so relevant, but right now they are not. You understand? Truth be told, there are so many useless courses here in Canada. Most of them are coming from private colleges or colleges. The colleges are where the dondologists are. You understand? We'll talk about that as we go on. So they are proposing something here called NOC-CIP. What is NOC? National Occupation Classification, where jobs in Canada are classified based on the education that is required, the experience that is required to perform the job, the so many factors, the training that is required. In fact, it's been modified. The NOC has been modified into something called tier system, TEER. And the tier system basically is an abbreviation for the T stands for training, the training that is required to perform a particular job. The E, the education required to perform that job. The E again, the second E, the experience that is required to perform that job. And then the R, the responsibilities that come with performing that job. The tier system, which replaces the NOC code. So get the idea here. Basically here in Canada, by the time you tell somebody your job, they already know what code your job is. The NOC code, they already know. They can easily tell. They can also easily predict your salary because the NOC code tells what salary should be paid for that job. And it also tells the responsibility and the qualification. So now the question here is, IRCC is trying to figure out a way to kind of match the job market there, the jobs that are out there, the demand, right, to the courses that people study. So they came out with what they call NOC-CIP. Now, the CIP basically stands for Classification of Instructional Programs. Classification of Instructional Program. All they are trying to say, my brother, this might be bluffo. Waiting the detractor is say right now, they want to also come and then codify the courses that schools are running, so that they can be able to place courses based on a certain ranking or category. You see, make I use my own example. This course, very, very important based on the time we live in now. Okay, this course, very, very important based on the time we live in now. This course, extremely useless, not important based on the needs of Canada. If the applicant comes to study, maybe he should consider going back to his own country. Simple, that'd be what they try to do. Simple as that. That's what the CIP is all about. They want to map the two so that based on the needs of the country, they are able to tell whether a course will be in a high demand or is needed for international students here. Now remember, not everybody comes to Canada with the intention of studying to get a postgraduate work permit and then want to stay. Some people come to study and they return back home. Many, but the majority actually choose to stay. So for those that have the intentions of wanting to stay, this video is of interest to you. By the time we finish learning, we can probably figure out which way to go with it. Because immigration, when it changes, you have to also change. If you refuse to change, you'll be left behind. In fact, as you are speaking right now, Australia has passed one of the one of the biggest announcements, was made a big decision on their immigration program. Starting from July 1st, 2024, in Australia, holders of visitors visa can no longer apply for study permit. People who study certain short graduate programs in Australia can no longer apply for study permits. Right now within Canada, visitors visa holders can change their status to work permit. It will be so. Through the proper way. Visitors visa holders can change their status to student visas too. It will be so. It will be so. Some visitors have they seek asylum. It will be so. Me, I tell you, see, Australia, it take the lead already. Right now, it close that loophole. No be loophole, sir. That policy way, it's not a loophole per se. It's because Canada and way no be loophole. If anybody tell you say be loophole, tell us say they lie. Because they are all in the immigration this thing. They are all there. It be the government where you bring the distance, say visitor visa should be able to change to work permit. Now, no be so. COVID time where they bring the policy. So it's a policy. It's supposed to end next year, February thereabout. You see, the same immigration act is allowing visitors visa to also change their status. But I tell you, say, Australia, it take the lead already. It do am. So as Australia do am, other countries to go do am. Canada too. I'm not going to be surprised if they close that they go closer. In fact, the work permit, visitor to work permit, they end February. It no be so. They go closer. If they don't close themselves, Poliev, the opposition, it can be go closer. By all means, that guy go closer. He go closer. ESDC and IRCC mapped knock code or knock occupations codes to programs of study using the classification of instructional program system. And then based on that, they've been able to generate some questions here. The ESD is the body that oversees labor-related stuff. And then IRCC is the body that oversees immigration, right? So based on that, they pose 8 questions. So now let's go through the 8 questions, okay? Question number 1. If postgraduate work permit eligibility were restricted or were reduced based solely on occupations in shortage, meaning occupations that are in high demand or they don't define people for, and corresponding programs of study, which occupations should be included based on the needs in your area? So province, tell us, so if we were to kind of restrict postgraduate work permit based on the demands of the market or shortages, tell us in your province which occupations, which ones would you want us to, which programs would you want us to be restricted? Please indicate if there are any occupations in shortage that should have been reflected in a mapping document along with your rationale. They ask the province to provide input. Number 2, what if any cohorts should be exempted from these changes, such as Francophone students, graduate degree programs, among others. So now the question they are asking here is that if they were to restrict some segments from it, such as Francophone people, you see, Francophone program, if we were not to include them in this as a restriction, if we were not to include, say, graduate students like the masters and paying people for them, tell us how that one to go look like. Give us your rationale if we were to also exclude. So we can confer here that they are contemplating excluding some people. No, so Francophone people in the building, there is a reason why Francophone people are getting this kind of because right now Canada is also making the argument that Charlie, they are losing a lot more Francophone debt. So they want more Francophones or bilingual folks here. You see what I mean? So if you're a Francophone person, these are good times to be wanting to come to Canada. This is the time that they are actually trying to ramp up the numbers for Francophones coming to Canada. Quebec has already started making some reforms, trying to get all kinds of programs in, pumping money, trying to attract a lot more Francophones. Because this country is a bilingual country, not an English-speaking country. It's bilingual. And the focus has mostly been, or the immigration programs have been tilted more towards the Anglophone programs. So I'm not surprised that Francophone programs are mentioned. Now, notice they also mention graduate programs. And people tend to confuse graduate degree programs with postgraduate diploma programs. They are not the same. Graduate degree programs, they talk about masters and PhD. That level, you go write bluffos, bona bluffwe, obanga bluffos, ubachorobofwa, thesis, MRP, major research paper. That's what we are talking about. We are not talking about diploma grad programs like, no. Some of you are still confusing. You are in diploma program. They do say you are doing graduate. No, that's not. Graduate degree, masters, PhD. So those who are doing degree, I'm not saying that these are not, because this is not a conclusive document. They are still surveying. They are still picking the brain of policy. But there is an indication that if they start to chop the restrictions, masters and PhD people are likely going to be protected because that level of education is serious. No, it means that you want to be serious for college. It be serious work. It's demanding. And that is actually what also defines Canada as a country of research. You can't North America, Canada, they do research for here. The researchers are all from the PhDs and then the master's level. So if you don't sustain that part, this country will lose its identity and position when it comes to being a research country, a research-driven country. You know, so I won't be surprised. Number 3, should international students be required to demonstrate proof of a job offer which is aligned with the occupational shortage list in order to hold it? In other words, should we require international students to demonstrate that the job that they are going to do or they have been offered is in line with the needs of the country or jobs that are in demand here? You may have noticed that postgraduate work permit postgraduate work permits, when they are issued, you don't need to have a valid job offer to get it. It's just given to you as an open and you go find your stuff. So right now they are contemplating whether they should now make it contingent on you to kind of demonstrate that you have a job offer which is relevant, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Before. I don't know how they'll do it, but let's see how it goes. Number 4, should any other eligibility criteria such as language, provincial support, etc., apart from a job offer, be applied to postgraduate work permit holders seeking to extend their permit past 1 year? So those who want to now extend their 1 year postgraduate work permit, even if they were to be qualified, because not everybody could be qualified for an extension, should we demand that they will present some additional proof, such as maybe a language test, maybe they do IELTS or CELP or something like that, or they have some support from the province they live, in order for us to extend it for them? Well, this particular point here, number 4, I am not too surprised to see it, because the Minister of Immigration of Canada, Miller, in the last couple of months, his language, he's been kind of hinting this kind of thing. What do I mean? He's been hinting that they are considering looking at the postgraduate work permit program, and probably rewarding some people with more extension time than others. Probably institutions or industries or jobs that are in high demand here, they will consider giving some extension. He's been hinting it. So I'm not surprised that he made it on the survey. I know you are waiting to hear jobs that are in demand. We'll come there. Number 5. What is your view of applying these labor market-based changes to postgraduate work permit eligibility to all graduates upon announcement this year, rather than grandfathering students who are already studying in Canada at the time of implementation? Say Block 4, English, Block 4. Number 5 is the one that caused so much panic. This very point here, or question here, is the one that has caused so much panic around. Because you can tell that they are planning to introduce it this year. We're already in June. It could happen by fall, which means September. There is an indication there that they are considering rolling it out this year. So what they are now considering is whether they should start it to affect everybody who is already in school, or they should kind of, waive those who are already in in their schools and programs and say that, Charlie, it's not fair that you guys who came to study before we made this decision should all be caught up in all these changes. Maybe we should kind of sneak them and give them a pass. Grandfather. You see, when we say grandfather, it means, Charlie, you see, in other words, when the policy was started, you were already in business, so Charlie will go give you a pass. You understand what I mean? Basically, that's what he's saying. It's like, okay, those of you already in program, we won't let it affect you. We'll let it affect those who are going to be started. That's a consideration right there. Grandfathering means to sneak the person in without letting them, like an exemption. Where they tell is number 5, it be the one we cause all the panic, because it means they don't start a thing this year, Charlie. You see what I mean? Number 6, how often should occupational shortage list be revised, and at what point thereafter should it be applied to students whose study is underway? So how often should we be revising this particular program? Now let's go to number 7. Do changes to the postgraduate work permit program being explored align with the profile of candidates you would like to remain working in your jurisdiction in the long run, in the long term? Number 8 is your PNP, which stands for Provincial Nominee Programs. Is your provincial nominee programs positioned to offer a viable pathway to permanent residence for international graduates with job offers in these key sectors? Are there any gaps between the labor market needs you have identified and your provincial nomination program's existing stream? In other words, hey, can you tell us that you are positioned to actually absorb these numbers of international students as well, in terms of the needs of your province, in terms of jobs and blah, 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 the programs you have and blah. That's what he's saying there. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the policy document that is causing the way. So what I get from this, my opinion, is that it's not been started yet. In fact, it has not started. If it started, then I don't know. You can forgive me. But there's a likelihood they will implement something like this year. Now, given the little that I know about Mark Miller, as somebody who observed from afar. Right from the first day I said that this man here was brought in to actually overhaul the immigration. Some of you remember I actually predicted that right from the beginning. I'm not surprised. I think he's a man of his word. He will do it. Look at it. Almost everything he said, he's done it. He said he will bring the numbers of international students down. By January, he started, introduced. Everything he said, he does it. You understand what I mean? Yeah. So I'm not surprised. He will likely do it. He will do it. And when this happens, we don't know whether those who are currently studying will be affected or not. Should you be worried? Maybe yes, maybe not. So here's my opinion. What are the areas that are critically in demand in Canada in terms of the job market? And what programs do I think will be well positioned? And there's my opinion. There's not immigration. There's my opinion. In my opinion, healthcare is number one. Canada's population is aging. I've said it already. In fact, I've done videos where I suggested that some of you who are looking at immigration prospects in Canada should consider maybe going into healthcare. Healthcare, anything health related is a big deal in Canada. The population here is aging. Majority of the people here, or significant portion of our population here, they are approaching retirement. We have a lot of long-term care homes or retirement homes. And what it means is that we need a lot more doctors. Right now, Canada said we don't have doctors. We are massively short in doctors and nurses. That is why anybody who is coming to study a health-related course should be so confident that when changes like this happen, they will probably be more positioned, better positioned to actually take advantage of some of the updates. So I think if you're already in a health program, you should be smiling. If you're already an internationally trained nurse like Yetunde, you should be smiling. If you're an optometrist like Dr. Roxon, you should be smiling, because at some point, when the dice is cast, the cosmic dice, when it's cast, the cosmic dice of immigration, when it's cast, it might just smile nice at you. You know what I mean? Healthcare, PSW, big deal. Personal support worker. Continual care programs, big deal. Watch out for a video that is coming up. When I have the strength, I'll do a video on some of these for you and tell you some schools that you can probably focus and provinces where you can focus. So make sure you're smashing this like button. Make sure you're sharing it. If you don't share, no problem. You do your own research. Oh. You think it's easy to do research? Share. You see what I mean? You see the information, you see the amount of research they put in making videos. A lot. For your sake. Because you won't do it. You won't do it. You take your data. You are using your data to watch Nash. You they watch Duna, Okwe Duna. You they watch Nash. And you finish, you go and watch dance, and then you come and sit down and say you want somebody to come and feed you. You know they do research. Like this video, share it too. Save ammo. You know me. I talk, I mean them. Whatever I have taken my time to explain, so that I can later take insult from people that my videos are long. You will not come and repeat those questions and waste my time. You go watch them. You know watch them. You go ask them, sir, you go tire. Simple. I never change it. If you won't watch it, you keep asking. And when you get the answer, we'll know. You come and share with me. It's either you are researching or you pay attention. If you aren't paying attention, then you got to pay somebody to do it for you. Simple as that. Healthcare, you cannot go wrong. Talking about healthcare, sometimes we talk about healthcare and we are talking about just nurses, doctors, PSW. Guys, those who are in the technical side of healthcare, big deal. Lab technicians, anything that has to do with sonographers, blah, 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 big deal. You are in need. 3 days ago, I spoke with a Ghanaian who just got his PIN in Canada here. He's been working in Ghana. He just got his PIN. He's a lab technician or something like that. In due time, I will probably interview him so he can share how he went about getting it. Healthcare, big deal. Not just in Canada, any European country. Because the population in these countries or this part of the world is aging. Aging means a lot more older folks. And you know, at this particular age or demography, you need a lot of health support. That is why you cannot go wrong with healthcare. Some of you are smiling right now. You're already smashing and destroying the like button because you are in healthcare. you are studying healthcare, or you are an internationally trained nurse, you are doing palliative, you know, you're already smiling. Say, Choco has mentioned my course. Oh, yeah. You see, you are smiling. Some of you are crying, you are shaking, panicking. Your heartbeat is going through, beating, you know, fever brim, hitting fever brim. Say, man, he didn't mention. He said healthcare. Hey, my course is not there. Don't worry. Don't worry. You'll figure a solution at the end. See what I mean? No? Healthcare, if you're already there, smooth. If you are not already there, what can you do? If you are just about starting your program, consider changing if possible, especially if your study permit has already been approved. Pay attention. If I do this, it means I put emphasis for the. You see? Some of you, your study permits have been approved. You have probably even landed and you just probably are about to start, or you have started. Maybe you should talk to your school and see if you can change your program. Because you already have your study permit, it might be much easier to just go from one program to the other within the same school. Some of you might say, you know what, my school doesn't have the program that I'm looking for. Maybe let me change my school. Some people are also able to change schools just to get their dream program. That is why I have partnered with HALP, H-A-L-P, to make your life easier. Many of you have reached out to me. Many of you have used the videos I've done on how to change your programs and your schools or apply for second programs. And some of you have been able to get, in fact, I got a message from HALP telling me that they just got one of my followers into an international nursing program, right? I like to show evidence, so permit me to just see if I can pull this up. All right? Where are you, HALP? Right? Let me go up. This lady was actually in a private college, which is not even eligible for postgraduate work permit. If you're in a private college, you already know by now. As for you, the conversation, you are not even included. Before we even started, you already know you are not even due for postgraduate work permit. Private colleges, if you plan to live in this country and you don't have any, maybe you don't know how to get an LMI when you complete school, LMI job offer. Basically, you are hoping to get a work permit and it's not working for you. Please, if you are still in your program, consider changing. Unless when you finish, you are going back to Ghana. You see, or they go back to Nigeria. Nigeria self needs you. They need more people to pay more taxes. How do you think they're going to make 800 billion, whatever, to change the national anthem in Nigeria? Tinubu needs you back. Tinubu needs you back. You see what I mean? So if you are doing private college program and you are aware already, meaning you already know when you finish you won't get, and you don't have a better plan B, be prepared to go back home. Tinubu needs you. Akufo-Addo self needs your vote. You understand what I mean? Yeah. You understand what I mean? No? All right. So we got here. Look at it. This is from let me explain. Let me how do I do this without showing too much? Yeah, okay. The lady's name is Elizabeth. Private college. You know, go get postgraduate too. She reach out fast. She reach out Norway. See, I'm activate some things like that. Quickly, I call her where I tell her and say, Charlie, one of my followers is in the big suit, private college, in the waste of money, school fees. I beg, sort time out. Within how many 48 hours or so, bam, they sort time out. In the here, no. Watch the confirmation for here. In the here, no. See, watch out. Let me read it to you. We got her accepted to a post-bachelor diploma practical nurse for internationally educated nurses, which is really an amazing but competitive program, but they still got her. You see, huh? Follow who know road. Follow who know road. If they do private college, you're already out. If you don't know, you are today, you know. If you don't know, go and find out too. Because when you finish studying the private college and you come and cry that you don't have permit, you don't know what to do next, you have run out of money, me, I won't mind you. And I'm not wicked. I just don't understand why you chose not to be researching. She's been sorted out. This lady was so desperate. 48 hours. She's been gotten, she received admission into a better program, postgraduate work permit, pathway, approved. There's the proof. Can you see it? Say we got her, accepted. In the here, no? Simple as that. They wanted me to reach out to her and bring the news to her. Healthcare, you cannot get it. Lab technicians, anything around health, that's a keyword. And I know some of you come in right. What about this call? I say healthcare. I say healthcare, anything healthcare, big deal. In fact, when it comes to healthcare, some are so important, but healthcare, you cannot go wrong with it in Canada. Big deal. The next one, engineering-related program, or what we call STEM-related program. Science, technology, engineering, math-related program. You can't get it wrong. Even if it's college, you are likely going to be absorbed in the system. Because this country thrives on science. That's why you can't get it wrong. Engineering this, so technician, this, anything with technician, engineering, you can't get it wrong. Science, you can't get it wrong. I beg the science, we get some of the way they be social science. So I beg those ones, they did dondology. They are in dondology. Dondology is just a home façon. They were useful during the Aristotle and Karl Marx time. Right now, we don't need it. Or even if we need it in some places. Not here. Canada, right now, they don't, you understand what I mean? We are in a postmodern country called Canada. Dondology, very least. STEM, you can't get it wrong. Any engineering related, STEM related, most likely. Look at the most recent invitations they've given for people to apply for permanent residency. Majority of them were in healthcare. Majority of them were in the category base. They were in science, technology, engineering, software, computer. You can't get it wrong. Data, anything that has to do with data, you're good. The next one, education. Education. All of these countries, they need more educators, early childhood educators. In fact, if you know anybody living in Canada who has a child who is from the age 1 or few months to age 3, ask them. They will tell you if their children are not in daycare, they will tell you they cannot find a spot. I've already done a video on it. You can't get it wrong. You cannot get it wrong. Canada needs a lot of educators. So programs like early childhood education, or people who are going to do teaching related programs or education related, definitely, I am just thinking you will just survive it when the wind begins to blow. The next one, trades. Anything that requires apprenticeship. Back in my country, we call them apprenticeship-based courses. Like those ones that we normally do in polytechnics and stuff. In Sanwe Juma, Nini Nani Chumo, Asimado, Awasido. You can't get it wrong. Carpentry, home renovation, welding, machinery or machinist, plumbing, electricals, automotive. Just mention hairstyling, hairdressing, hairstyling. That's how they call it here. All these programs, you can't get it wrong. Anything that has to do with trades or apprenticeship. Fashion designing. Well, fashion designing, I might just take a look at that again because I don't know how much demand we have for it here. But I know hairstyling, there is a big deal, man. I got some hairstylists around me who did these courses in schools here. And it's a big deal. You see it? So trades, anything trades related, big deal. HVAC, big deal. So many of them, I can't even go through all of them. Anything that has to do with apprenticeship, that requires a lot more, hand work. You probably survive it. Construction, big deal. Construction is probably the area that Canada needs. So construction, these are the guys building the economy, building more houses, building the roads. Right now, Canada, we have a massive accommodation deficit. Because construction folks, where they go build them. They will build the roads, build the houses or infrastructure and stuff. Construction, you can't go wrong with it. In fact, in a province like Nova Scotia, they introduced a program recently just to train people for free to go into construction, carpentry, blah, 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 free. Some of you have heard about it already. They've even started training students at the secondary school level for them to start going into trade because they know that this country here has a massive deficit when it comes to trades. We are not training a lot more people. You see it? Liberal arts and general arts fields. I think these fields are the fields that will be hit big time. Guys, now I'm moving to the fields that I suspect will be hit big time. In other words, fields that will be choked or will be affected big time. Number one, business courses. Business courses have some of the most useless duplications of fun courses. No apologies. I'm just telling you what it is. You just talk to some of your friends who did business-related courses here, especially if you did not do it at a master's level like an MSc, financial accounting, or MBA. How is it looking? You did it at the college level. You got to be super aggressive to actually land a job in that field. Many of the guys who do business courses will often end up driving Uber or flipping burgers at McDonald's or Tim Hortons. Because it's so hard, especially foreigners, to train in this area. Look, if a native Canadian, a Canadian-born citizen, goes to school to do international business management, there is a likelihood they will actually navigate themselves because they are natives. I'm not saying there is a bias per se, but I'm saying that they will likely be able to fit into certain industries or certain positions. You, foreigner, accents have we no resolve them yet. When they speak, majority of you, we can't hear it. Your international business management at the bego. I'm not saying that don't take it too serious, but I'm saying that look, let's be real. Business courses, majority of them, the prospects are just narrow. Unless you are a native. I attended a graduation recently, and then they were showing, the school was actually showing past students or alums who finished from some years back and then they are doing well. And when I was looking at it, majority of them white Canadians. And then when I look at it, this one did international business management. Then I look at where she's working. Okay, and I tell myself, how many Africans doing this same course will find themselves there? You won't. Because it's just how the system is structured. Some of them may have already done some work, co-ops and what have you from high school. So it's easy for them, the point I'm making is it's easy for them to transition into certain roles than us. Because the odds are so much against us already. That is why when you're coming to do business course, you need to think twice. I foresee a lot of business programs will collapse in most colleges, especially colleges. Those ones are when students finish, they barely can. If there is any business course that probably can have a chance, maybe those ones that are data driven, like data analytics, data science, or business analytics. I'm suspecting those ones will probably survive it because heavy data. Or they play with data, and data is a big deal here. Or maybe it's like a project management. You probably may, you know what I mean? Project management is pretty much highly ranked and valued here. Sometime when you finish, you might just have to do a co-op, or maybe you do a quick certification and then you land a job in that area. But other areas I see our Africans struggle big time unless you are native, or unless you came here from high school and you've acclimatized with the system so where you've done a lot of co-ops and volunteering, blah, 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 and then you can skate through. Otherwise, it's hard to find a job in that field. So many business programs will fall out. It is your responsibility to study. Please, so. It is your responsibility to look at the data and then see how the job market is. When they actually hold the draws for express entry or provincial nominee draws, which are category-based, do you see your programs mentioned? Do you see them hold draws for human resource managers? Do you see them hold draws for international business management officers? Do you see it? That is your assignment to go and do. You go and do your research. I hope you understand. All right. Somebody asked about landscaping, big time. Landscaping is also in that area, man. Big time. Landscaping, big deal here. I just think landscaping is a big deal. You know what I mean? Anything that has to do with work with your hand. You understand? The painters, if you get value. The painters, if you get value. You understand what I mean? Or somebody where they do nail. Anyway, make I just continue. Now, the other area that I think has a better chance as well will be hospitality. Hospitality, anything that has to do with the hospitality industry, especially catering and all those, you know what I'm, culinary courses, I think will likely be in high demand. Just because during COVID, these were the guys that saved us. When we couldn't go and we were all social distancing, these were the guys who were keeping the economies running. We need them. You know what I mean? You can have all your degrees and PhDs. Right? You need these guys to put food on the table when you understand. So I have no doubt that these guys will still, most provinces or territories need a lot more people as chefs, foods. In fact, there was an article I read recently where the owner of a business approached a newspaper or a media company and told them that, look, he has been looking for a cook. It's so cook, somebody who can cook, a chef. You know, they find. He's been looking, he cannot find. And he thinks the government is frustrating his attempt to hire people. He cannot find chefs. Hospitality. I think you will just be in the right spot if you go with hospitality. All right. There is also, I think that master's programs and PhD folks may not be affected big time, just because a lot of provinces already have a dedicated provincial nominee program that allows graduates from the master's level and PhDs to actually apply for permanent residency. That was how I got mine. If it was all about work experience, because when I finished, yours truly, I was working in a factory, man, moving bacon all over the line and boxing them, and you know what I mean, taping them real good. If it was about work experience, my job didn't matter. My job had a poor no code. But just because I did a master's, it favored me. Some will do PhD, take 4, 5, 6, 7 years to finish it. They will likely be favored. So I think master's folks, regardless of where you are, you could have a better chance just because some provinces already have programs that are there for you. In fact, I spoke with a brother just yesterday and today, and he did a master's in MBA in British Columbia. He just got his provincial nomination from British Columbia using the international graduate stream, because they have a program like that for international graduates. For that, most provinces have it for masters and PhD, or in Ontario at least has something like that, the master's stream and the PhD stream. It was just recently that they introduced something for colleges. So for a long while, colleges were kind of left in a limbo. You understand? All right. So let's talk about how the different ways that you can pivot. The different ways you can pivot. In other words, Choco. So upon all this grammar way talk, where they make one a heart they beat, you self they sweat, and me too they sweat. Yes. Choco. What be some of the things where I think we need to be just creative? You need to be creative. Creative means study the times, make sure you know what time it is, and make sure you are pivoting or making moves. The Bible says we don't know what time it is, so we cannot tell when the Son of Man is around. So we have to know what time it is. We are in times of changes in immigration. Just be smart. If I am already in a program that I've already heavily invested and I'm about finishing, say I'm in a college, I'm doing a program which is probably not in high demand and I'm finishing. I'm probably disheartened right now hearing some of this, isn't it? Because I don't know whether the new policy when it goes live will affect me or not, or I'll be grandfathered, right? But maybe what I could do is to consider doing a second program that can open up opportunities for me. Now, some of you may do the second program when you finish the one you are currently doing. Some don't have the money at all, so they won't be able to do it. Some are also able to maybe do a course on the side. I know a Ghanaian lady who is doing a course in one of the colleges in Toronto. If I'm not mistaken, that course will be useless course, business course. But the husband made sure that she also enrolls for a personal support worker program on the side. So that lady was literally doing 2 programs at the same time. In fact, as we're speaking right now, she's just about wrapping up her placement for the PSW that she's doing. Meaning, when she finishes, instead of going to work with the business program, she can choose to go and work with the PSW certificate that she has. You see, that lady is actually trying to activate a plan B, or she activated a plan B whilst in school to kind of help her. I know a couple of people who are doing it because they just know. Now, some of you may not have the funds to do a second program on the side or after completing school, but then may be able to secure jobs in fields that are in demand. Now, is it possible that if I studied a course that is not in demand, I can still get a job in a field that is in demand? Absolutely, yes, you can. You can do an extremely not popular course in Canada's immigration or the job market and end up getting a job. Sometimes the things that can just open up those opportunities for you could be proactiveness. Proactiveness means your aggressiveness in pursuing things. How can you do that? Well, doing a lot of volunteering if you can. You are in school right now. If you have a bit of time, volunteer with organizations where, you know, by just volunteering, opportunities can open up for you. I know a friend who was volunteering with a Salvation Army, all right? He was just volunteering, and in the process, ended up becoming the director. Do you know what that position is? Big position, ain't it? Director. He started off as a volunteer, meaning they only pay him. In fact, at that time, I'm sure they were giving him something small. you will likely not do volunteering because there is no pay. You know, go do it. You know, go do it. No problem. Okay. Then have a plan B. But those of you who could be smart enough to pick some really good volunteering opportunities, those places you volunteer can open up opportunities for you. There might be a position that they might just like you as a person, your personality, your productivity, or your work ethic, and may offer you opportunity. That said, work ethics can also open up things for you. You could be working right now in a factory. You could be working right now in a regular job whilst you're a student. But then your employer may take an interest in you because of your work ethic, and then it may just promote you to a better position. There are people who start off as food service, and all of a sudden they become supervisors, which is an amazing position that will probably make it in most provincial nominee programs. But he wasn't. He didn't train to be a food server in school. How come? Well, his work ethic, his productivity. So those of you where they go work, right? And you are accusing everybody of being a racist. You are picking up fight with everybody. You are having anger problems. At the end of the day, how your promotion will come? There are some who will also be doing short skill-based programs or certificates or acquire certificates on the side, like forklift driving. Well, you are not studying that in school, but you were just smart enough to think that it can help you get into the market. So you did a forklift course, maybe in Mississauga or in Toronto or somewhere, and you are driving forklift part-time as you were a student. By the time you are done, maybe a better position opens up in the company, and then you apply for it. Supervisor, something like that, or bigger one. And all of a sudden, when you're doing it, your course that you study in school is not that relevant to what you're doing after. You see? So it's all about just being creative and just making sure you're making yourself more relevant. Some of you may also need to do all kinds of certification programs on the side. Do you remember Amara, the Nigerian lady I interviewed who graduated recently? She said one of the things that really made it for her was the fact that she was able to do a whole bunch of certification programs. Some of them are really affordable. $20, $30, $40, $100. In fact, I have a Ghanaian a physician assistant, all right? A physician assistant from Ghana who is here studying a health-related program here. And then when he came, within his first semester, dude was having difficulty finding jobs, so he went and he acquired a license. The license he acquired is what is actually giving him a job today. So maybe you can do that. Some of them are not too expensive. Some of them $100, less than $100, $200, you can get them. Just make sure whatever license you're going for is something that can step you up or create an opportunity for you tomorrow. Finally, if there is a need for you to probably hop into an LMI opportunity, please do. If you also need to move to different parts of Canada where there are a lot more opportunities, better. You've seen the data. Ontario is choked. You have to be super resilient in Ontario to be able to make some moves. I'm not saying you won't get your papers in Ontario, but the chances are extremely slim for many of us who are in the South. 52% of international students are in Ontario. That's not too good, isn't it? But there are other places people don't want to go. I had a tenant who is a Nigerian, completed her 1-year studies here, just moved to Northern Ontario, Sault Ste. Marie, a place that would typically be really cold. And you know what she told me? I'm loving it there. She said, I'm loving it there. I'm loving it there. I'm loving it there, immigration-wise, loving it there. She finds that place to just be where she wants to be. She's in Sault Ste. Marie. She said she's loving it there. There are people. Okay, when was the last time you saw Yetunde? She moved to a village. You haven't seen Yetunde. That woman is busy looking, chasing her PR in a village, in a small town. Small town where everybody knows everybody. Grandmother knows grandpa. Grandpa knows shorts. It's everybody. That's where she moved. Because that woman, they chase a PR. But some of us, we are not willing to make this sacrifice. We love the big life here. We love the big life in the big cities. We love the CN Towers. We love the experience in Toronto. But this is also where the most stress are. Maybe you need to move. Remember those Indians who moved to Prince Edward Island because they wanted to? Those guys were making these same moves. They may have studied in Ontario, but they decided to move to PEI just to go chase their papers. Sometimes you need to make those moves. But remember, it's not just about just moving. It's about making sure you do proper research. Touch base with people who are on the ground, if possible. Talk to people. Should I move to Saskatchewan? Why should I move to Saskatchewan after my studies? What are the prospects there? Have I talked to people on the ground? Have I talked to Africans there? Have I talked to others there? How did they get this? What are the challenges they face? What do I need to know? Don't just move. Talk to people on the ground. Or you got no friend. That's your business. Make some friends. Talk to people. They will tell you that, hey man, it's not as easy as you think. Or, hey man, when you come, this is how you can do it compared to how I did it. Or this is where I think you can have some really good friends who can give you those heads up. Yetunde had to do research. This woman in fact, she was researching more than I was. She will be the one coming to me and say, Choco, what do you think about this place? What do you think about this place? What do you think about this place? I want to move there. I say, Yetunde, the population is 20,000. Oh. Not too many people there, but Yetunde, he said, Choco, I don't care. It's all about how I can get my PR. So I don't care. Would you be able to make those moves? It won't stay Ontario. If you say Ontario, then you go love the song. Canada, hey, Canada, hey, Canada. I hope you're enjoying this video. So that is it there. Let me see if there is anything that I did not talk about. I didn't even go with the script that I made here. Everything was coming. I hope I covered everything. If you have any question, please put. This is going to be a long video. I wanted to keep it under a 1 hour mark, but unfortunately, I talk a lot. Yeah. The data suggests that the international students who are on a postgraduate work permit as of 2023, the numbers are staggering. The postgraduate work permit that have been issued has grown just in the year 2023 by 213%, guys. 213% of increments or growth in just postgraduate work permits alone. And this country is probably at a point where they think that this has cost. International students are a blessing, but the sentiment here is also that these people, when they come in, they are not just bringing money, but they are also stifling the economy in different ways. The unemployment, the lack of opportunities for local people, the accommodation crisis is because we have too many students. In fact, there is so much anti-immigration sentiment going around all over the world, and students are an easy pick. So you just have to be creative. If you're an Indian right now, you probably will get a lot of hate. When people look at you, you know what I mean? 40% international students in Canada from India. Hey, be prepared for it, man. A lot of hate will go on there just because people just have that anti-immigration vibe right now, especially when the economy is in, you know what I mean? It is what it is. It is what it is. As of 2018 compared to 2023, postgraduate work permits issuance has gone up by 213%. That is a fact, according to the IRCC. All right. Let me see if I can take some few questions here. Press on regardless. What about those of us having MS in project management in the US and want to move to Canada after school? Okay, as for you, we are not even talking about you. Right now, we are talking about those who are international students. You are not even a student in Canada. You see what I mean? So, as for you, can figure out your way. This one, we are talking about international students. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, international students is the focus here. Let me see. Choco, what are the courses in PSW? Check that from the website of the school. Unfortunately, the curriculum might differ from school to school. Narrow G. Sometimes we need to find other alternatives elsewhere. Yes, you need to be super creative. That's the key word there. Gertrude Onyinyechi, how can we get postgraduate work permit? How can we get PSW placement? That's okay. Okay, what about human resource? It's a relevant course, but I just think the demand for African trained folks or people who study here, it will take you a long time to actually make it through. You know what I mean? I just think, yeah, that's what I think. It's not a course that I'll probably go for if I'm coming to study. It's not like the hottest. For you to know, just go and check the PMP category-based draws. And let me know if you find HR jobs there. If you find it, go for it, okay? Choco, please, for someone coming to Canada with a study visa, is it good to still follow Toronto PSNRs? That's not relevant. It's not Demi. I appreciate your question. Not relevant for the discussion here. What about social service worker? I think it's in high demand here. Social service, anything that has to do with working with children, big deal. Working with kids, working in the community, big deal. All right, that's what I think. Business analytics, I already talked about that. If you are in a private college and you are looking to change and you don't know how to find admissions or you're having a hard time, I have a video that I've done on that. You can also reach out. I have a very good relationship with HALP. HALP will be able to sort you out, okay? Stephanie Tracy Opata. It's occupational environmental health. That's healthcare, so I imagine it will be good. Public health, big time. Anything health, all right? Anything health. Ellie Bones, to my African, if you think you'll be affected, seek asylum. That's not something we want to be telling people. Asylum is not an easy way people should just be taken. Remember, it's easy to seek asylum. It's not easy to defend your case. Most people are told to just go seek asylum, go seek asylum. Then how are you going to defend yourself? You cannot just put any case in there and just go and hope that you'll be given refugees. So it doesn't work like that. Don't just listen to people tell you go seek asylum. No. Don't be listening to. Yeah. HND accounting. Okay. All right. So guys, that'll be it for now. I hope you appreciate this video. Share with your friends, tag your friends, save it somewhere, and just make moves. If you are coming in new and your program is not in an area of demand in terms of jobs, consider talking to your school to see how you can change. You've seen some of my past videos where I personally went to campus with some of these international students. After having conversation with them, they figured out they want to change their program. Some of them actually have no idea. The agents chose, they use agents who chose their courses for them. They have no idea. They may not have an idea on the data dynamics here in Canada in terms of job market. When they come here, then they get to know that some of the courses here may not be the right courses, right? Now, I forgot to say this. When it comes to also getting visa applications approved, the officers tend to also make decisions based on your previous academic training or background and your professional history. So sometimes it is safe to kind of remain in your field or your background just so you can be able to get that visa. Let me make myself clear. I studied political science, all right? If I were to apply for my visa, to tell the officer I'm coming to study PSW or nursing, I expect the officer to fail me or not to give me the visa because my background and my training is unrelated to nursing. So I may have to probably go into social sciences or maintain an advancement of my political science just to get my visa. Now, after my visa is approved and yours truly touches down on my father's land, Canada, my mother's land, Ghana, according to Mr. Danny Dandola, right? Right? I can go and change my program if I want to. I can change from the political science to PSW because I already have my visa. If you already have your visa and you are in the country, it's much easier to change your program. It only becomes an issue if you try to change it whilst your visa has not been approved, or if you change it whilst your visa is being processed. And then the officer finds out, then you need to probably sometimes submit a whole new application altogether, which could jeopardize so many things, isn't it? So sometimes it is better to make the changes when you're in the country and you're in school. Then you can go talk to your school to see if you can change. People change programs all the time. People change it all the time. Yetunde, if I'm not mistaken, she changed a program. I took her there myself. She changed a program, right? You've watched Michaela. Michaela from Ghana, she changed a program. I personally took her to the school. She changed a program to pharmacy assistant, something else, something better. It is what it is, right? Be proactive. Hey, by the way, don't come and be emailing and saying that you want me to help you change. I'm doing that. If you live close to me, you probably could get that advantage. But I don't want nobody to be reaching and help me change program by taking me to a school. No. If you want to change program by using HALP, then definitely you can reach out. Even with that, don't send an email. I expect a lot of you to be reaching out and inundating my inboxes with some of this message. No. I have a video already. I'm going to do my very best to link the video in the description box on my YouTube channel. Watch that video. If you are in a private college and you are aware you will not get a postgraduate work permit because you are not eligible for it, or you just found out and your intention is to stay here and work after completing school, and you have decided that you want to change your program because you have the resources to do that, please watch the video that I will link in my description box and use the link in there to register. HALP will be more than happy. Sometimes they are so quick, within 48 hours, sometimes within a week, they would have assisted you to change your program and change your school without stress. You don't pay HALP. They don't charge you no money. You are not paying them a penny. It's all free. Sometimes, in fact, they will even, if you need to even extend your application, your visa, your study permit, they will even let their lawyers do it for you for free. This is what they are offering for free. I can't do more than this. I cannot do more than this. You see what I mean? So don't come and stress me by my inbox. You see what I mean? I'm telling you, if you send me an email, I won't respond. Some of you don't pay attention to details. And you say, this guy talks too much. I'm just a very straight guy. If you don't pay attention, forget it. You can send an email 1 billion times. If you shut a bundle, we can't respond to him. If you shut a bundle, we can't respond to him. Because I don't understand why you don't pay attention to details. I say if you want to change, watch the video, use the link, simple. You want to come and talk to me, you want to come and email me for me to draft a proposal response. No, it's not possible. Imbano, majo. All right. Choco, what is the possibilities of converting a visiting visa to work permit? I've already covered it. All right, guys, thanks so much. God bless you. Thanks for watching. Share this video, tag your friends in it. See you on the other side. Take care. Peace. Oh, Charlie, there is a song I like to play, but Charlie, sometimes I will get copyright. Stoneboy gets on song B. Where we go, Rango? Charlie, everywhere no cool. We with the Africa. This sister they beat it for that. Those were the jackpot too. Oh, Stoneboy, go give me copyright. Oh, Rango. That song the perfect one. Because everywhere where they pass. Oh, not for them sell out. Brand them all sell out. Selflessness. We see them sell out. Greedy life, speedy life. You see what I mean? Where we go, Rango? Hustlers, they try travel, they squeeze everywhere. Back home, back home, everywhere just mess up. You understand? We they travel to small travel to right now, everywhere just they, like the system just they cast. So right now, where I am a hustler go. You see him? Rango. Go listen to that song and get some, encouragement. Stoneboy say, man, it looks like the hustler they push, they go north, south, they close all the doors, they go east, west. But actually remain resilient, have faith. The storms may come, but you stand and you'll be victorious. God bless you. Thanks for watching. Bye.